Hi, everybody. It is John Casey with another motivational intelligence moment from Too Logical. So today, we're going to talk about a pretty famous person, but we're going to go a little bit into the backstory. Most Americans and many people around the world know of George Washington Carver, who was born in 1863, 1864, and he died in 1943. But despite being born into slavery, he led a life that continually demonstrated a high level of MQ, and he positively impacted the lives of millions. Mostly known for his scientific discoveries he made with peanut and other lowly crops, he represented so much more. Carver's inventions includes hundreds of products, including more than 300 that came from peanuts, including milk, plastics, paints, dyes, cosmetics, medicinal oils, soap, ink, wood stains, but not peanut butter. Maybe the easiest. He also had 118 inventions from sweet potatoes, including molasses, postage stamp glue, flour, vinegar, and synthetic rubber. And he even invented a type of gasoline and even more products from soybeans. One of his most famous quotes is, "Where there is no vision, there is no hope." There are many reasons why this quote is so profound. Hope for anyone makes the present moment, regardless of how bad it might be, less difficult to bear. If a person believes that tomorrow or next week or next month will be better, they can fight through the hardships of today. However, and this is key, without hope, people will drown in the sea of misery. People will stay in a bad place. They won't fight to get to a better place if they have no vision of that better place. In short, a vision leads to hope, and hope leads to rediscovering our motivational intelligence. Carver was most likely born in early 1864 into slavery in Diamond, Missouri, during the Civil War. Like many children of slaves, the exact year and date of his birth are unknown. He was owned by Moses Carver and was called Carver's George. Listen to this. A week after his birth, George was kidnapped along with his sister and mother from the Carver farm by raiders from the neighboring state of Arkansas. The three, mother and two children, were later sold in Kentucky. But among the three of them, only the infant George was located by an agent of Moses Carver and returned to Missouri. Moses and his wife Susan decided to keep George in their home after his return, raising and educating him. Susan taught George to read and write since no local school would accept Black students at the time. The search for knowledge would remain a driving force for the rest of George's life. As a young man, he left the Carver home to travel to a school for Black children 10 miles away. He was later accepted to Highland College in Highland, Kansas, but was denied admittance once college administrators learned of his race. But he never gave up on formal education. And instead of attending classes when he hoped to, he instead homesteaded a claim where he conducted biological experiments and compiled a geological collection. He also pursued studying art and music on his own, eventually becoming a master of sketching botanical samples. Carver eventually became the first Black student at Iowa State and excelled in his studies. Upon completion of his Bachelor of Science degree, Carver's professors persuaded him to stay on for a master's degree. During these years, Carver established his reputation as a brilliant botanist and began the work that he would pursue for the rest of his career. Booker T. Washington, the founder of the historically Black Tuskegee Institute, hired Carver to run the school's agricultural department in 1896. His areas of research and training included methods of crop rotation and the development of alternative cash crops for farmers in areas heavily planted with cotton. Overproduction of a single crop had left many fields exhausted and barren. Carver suggested planting peanuts and soybeans, both of which could restore nitrogen to the soil, along with sweet potatoes. Carver's scholarship and research contributed to the improved quality of life for many farming families, making Carver an icon for African Americans and white Americans alike. American presidents from Theodore Roosevelt to Franklin Roosevelt sought his company and advice. In 1916, he was made a member of the British Royal Society of Arts, a rare honor for any American. Carver also advised Indian leader Mohandas Gandhi on matters of agriculture and nutrition. Carver achieved international fame in political and professional circles. He was one of the most famous Americans of his time. Time magazine called him the Leonardo da Vinci of his time. The vision he had for his life, the hope it fueled, and his following quote might provide some insight as to what pushed him. George Washington Carver said, "It is not the style of clothes one wears, neither the kind of automobile one drives, not the amount of money one has in the bank that counts. These mean nothing. It is simply service that measures success." He was the first African American to have a national monument. His iconic status remained long after his death, and his epitaph lets us know he fulfilled his vision. His epitaph was, "He could have added fortune to fame, but caring for neither, he found happiness and honor in being helpful to the world." Thank you, Peanut Man. I believe his lesson to us is this: create your vision on two levels. A, what you want to accomplish, and B, who you want to become, and tie it serving others. As a footnote, George Washington Carver appeared on a U.S. commemorative postal stamp in 1948 and 1998, as well as commemorative half-dollar coin minted between 1951 and 1954. Numerous schools bear his name, as do two United States military vessels.